We have this game right here called Digging Soaring Party Simulator 2016. That's a tentative title pending early access results. So our themes were digging, soaring, and party. I'm Tyler, Anthony's there, Pat's there, and Josh is right there.
Is this like you're digging the soaring party, or is it like you're digging
Oh, you'll see.
two parties?
You'll see. You'll see what happens. All right, so our concept is that it's a 2v2 multiplayer game. Each team has one player up in the sky driving a plane, and then has one player on the ground driving like this drill tank thing. Each player can affect both the ground and the sky through attacks and movement. The object of the game is to basically kill the other team more, building up the score, and then you have random item spawns that'll come in per each character.
So for the plane mechanics, it can shoot missiles in the direction it's facing to destroy the ground terrain, or it can also like attack the other plane in the sky or the tank on the ground. It can shoot bullets, which are faster than missiles, but it cannot destroy terrain. It can still destroy the other players. If the plane touches the ground, it explodes, and it has limited ammunition, which it can get from ammo item packs that it can get.
And for the drill tank, it's going to start in the ground, and it will primarily be fighting the other tank in the ground. It hits opponents only with a drill, has no kind of a projectile attack. It can, however, launch itself into the air. It has a boost mechanic where you have a limited amount of fuel in your meter for how much you can boost. You can get a, let's say, I'll call it a fuel power up to recharge that meter. So you can launch yourself into the air to either dive bomb into the planes and then drop back down with a slow parachute, or you can use it to boost faster while you're jigging through the ground.
The general mechanics, both the tank and the plane have 360 movements on a 2D plane, so you can move in any direction on that plane. There will be a couple different map types. The one drawn here is a volcano. There would also be like a desert, maybe a beach scene. So like each map has a different hazards. Like the volcano would have rocks that shoot out of the volcano into the planes. The desert one, the sand would fall on a tank if you dug underneath it. And it horizontally wraps, so if you hit the edge, you would get on the other side. So it's not like you hit the edge and you get stuck. It'd be timed matches, like 2 minutes or 3 minute matches, and it'd be best 2 out of 3. And there'd be a bunch of item spawns like the boost for tanks, the ammunition for planes, and the different hazards that come out of the maps.
Sir, quick question. You can move in 360 degrees, like it's 3D and you're on a plane, or
You can move at 360 degrees on the 2D plane, so you can move like in a circle.
so it's a 2D game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is each player controlling multiple of those things, or
Each
is it
player
four?
controlling one of I think it's 4 players.
Oh, okay.
Teams of 2.
And just a quick note on the bottom there, the boosts for, depending on the plane, it's ammunition or the tank's boost to jump up. That has to be spawned by the other teammates, so then there's another factor of cooperatively working together against the other team.
So the plane can drop fuel for teammates' drill's boost, and the drill can throw up ammunition from the ground to the plane.
So as far as target audience and miscellaneous info, so we're aiming for teens and young adults from like the 12-year-old to 19-year-old range. Art style is going to be a pixel art, more of closer like 16 to 32-bit rather than like an 8-bit style. Local multiplayer, 4 players, and then preferably on like a home console or PC as a target platform, and all be on one screen rather than like split screen or something. And that's it.
Is there what's the 12 to 19 demographic? I don't get that.
Like where that came from.
No, I mean, what is that? What is teens? I think 12-year-old. No, I mean it's a serious question. I think 12-ish year old, and then I think 15 to 35.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So can you break that down for me?
I mean, essentially, it's just sort of like a ballpark range of generally how the marketing would go. So 12-year-olds would probably like how the gameplay works, same for 19-year-olds. So it's just more of like a general range than a very specific reason type of thing.
How is it selected who gets what? Is it like randomly generated your team locally? Let's say you're all playing, and then you each get assigned one of these ones?
That'd be like chosen at the beginning. So let's say out of players, 1 through 4, player 1 is teamed up with player 2. Player 1 would say, I want the plane, and then player 2 would be like, all right, cool, and then you get one or the other.
Feasibility question, you're doing, local multiplayer only, you're planning on like a simul PC console launch?
Yeah, it's more of like for PC, it would be 4 controllers plugged in together, and then for console, same thing, 4 controllers type of thing. Rather than trying to go through the whole online process of getting services just locally.
And you need to have 4 physical human players.
Yeah, 4, and I guess you could bump it down to 2 players, but that takes away a lot of the mechanics. That's why we try to stick to 4 players.
Yep. And they don't have to worry.
No, like they could if they want to, but like it's optional.
I feel like they saw us and they said Atari 2600 Combat. That's terrible. Nobody else was thinking that though.
Nobody can beat you with my walker.
But I mean, love Combat.
Is that it for you guys, or any other comments? Good? Good. Awesome. Thank you.